Hello and welcome to Auto Reviews. Today we will be taking a look at a comparison between three workhorses. These are the Toyota Probox, Nissan Advan, and lastly the Honda Partner. The Probox has for a long time been known as the absolute best workhorse. It has been extremely reliable. Some of them have been misused, but they just refuse to die. So today we are going to find out how it stacks up against these two other competitors. And we will also discuss whether this facelifted Probox with a CVT gearbox will be as tough as the previous model that had a 4-speed automatic. Probox is very common, and that alone tells a lot about this car. Nissan Advan, on the other hand, is slightly common, but of course not as the Probox. The Honda Partner is not common, and this is partly because its production was stopped in 2010. So in this comparison, we are going to compare the 2015 Probox and Advan versus a 2010 Honda Partner. Let's first compare their technical specifications, then we will conclude by discussing and finding out whether the Probox should still be on top of the list. Beginning with the prices of each of these cars, the 2015 Probox has a starting price of around 800,000 shillings to around 1.15 million depending on the mileage, but not the features, because these vehicles are very basic and have almost no extra features. So the price you will pay will mostly depend on the mileage and overall condition of the car. Nissan Advan, on the other hand, is more affordable with a starting price of around 700,000 shillings to around 850,000 shillings for the 2015 model. And lastly, the Honda Partner. Remember, it's the 2010 model, so it's the most affordable with a price of between 500 to around 700,000 shillings. Moving on to the engine options, the Probox has two, a 1.3 litre or a more powerful 1.5 litre engine. The only gearbox available is a CVT. Unfortunately, the automatic is no longer available. The 1.3 can achieve around 18 km per litre, while the 1.5 can get around 15 km per litre, depending on how you drive as well as how loaded the vehicle is. The more the weight, the more the consumption. These engines are extremely reliable, and the only thing that we cannot be certain of is how the new CVT will cope, especially being that a Probox undergoes a very difficult life in our country. So only time will tell. If you intend to use the car for some heavy work, then the 1.5 litre is the most suitable option. The 1.3 is more fuel efficient, but it will struggle a bit, and as a result, the fuel efficiency will certainly drop. This car is available in either front or all-wheel drive. The Nissan Advan has 4 engine options, a 1.2 litre, a 1.5, a 1.6, and lastly a 1.8. It's also available in either front or all-wheel drive. As for the gearbox options, there are 2. The first one is a 4-speed automatic, and this particular gearbox comes with the 1.2 litre and the 1.6 litre engine. The second gearbox option is a CVT, which comes with the 1.5 litre engine and the 1.8 litre engine. The 1.2 litre engine can achieve around 18 km per litre, the 1.5 around 15 km per litre, the 1.6 around 14 km per litre, and lastly the 1.8 around 13 km per litre. Again, the fuel consumption will depend on how you drive and how much weight the vehicle is carrying. These engines are also quite reliable. They are simple engines, so there's nothing much that can go wrong with them. The 1.6 litre is a very good engine option because it's more powerful than the weaker 1.2 litre. Then it also comes with a 4-speed automatic, which is definitely more reliable than the CVT in the 1.5 and 1.8 litre engines. The 1.8 is more powerful, but being that this is a vehicle meant for some hard work, that CVT transmission might not be very ideal. The 4-speed automatic is way better. Lastly, the Honda Partner has only one engine option, which is a 1.5 litre, and it is coupled to a 5-speed automatic, which is the only transmission option available. You can also get it in either front or all-wheel drive. That 1.5 litre is capable of giving around 15 km per litre. Now, just like with most other Hondas, this Partner is very reliable. There is nothing much that goes wrong with these cars. The Probox has a 50 litre fuel tank, Advan has a 41 litre tank, and Honda Partner has a 42 litre tank. Moving on to the service costs, these cars have very simple engines which are easy and affordable to maintain. On average, it will cost about 6,000 shillings to service each car for the minor service, which should be done after every 5,000 kilometers. while for the major service it will cost about 14,000 shillings on average, and it should be done after 10,000 kilometers. That again applies for every car. You may pay less or more than these figures depending on the parts you go for, as well as where you service the car. The ground clearance of the Probox is around 155 millimeters, which is not bad with 4 passengers on board, but with cargo included, the vehicle's underside will get scratched. So if you intend to be transporting heavy items, then it may be very necessary to modify the ground clearance. The clearance on the Nissan Advan is even worse, measuring in at around 144 millimeters. So again, modifying the clearance will be necessary. Lastly, the Honda Partner measures in at around 160 millimeters, which is actually the best out of all these 3 vehicles. So you can live with the car like that, but if you will be carrying heavy things, then again you may need to adjust the clearance but slightly. In terms of the brakes, all these vehicles get discs at the front and drums at the back, and this is quite sufficient being that they are not fast cars. The Probox is the lightest car here with a carb weight of between 1090 to 1170 kgs. The Advan, on the other hand, measures in between 1140 to 1270 kgs. And lastly, the Honda Partner measures in between 1150 to 1220 kgs. The last aspect to look at are the extra features, and there are no features here worth talking about. These are very basic vehicles that are meant to be workhorses. So the best features you can get in each car are a radio, fog lights, and AC. So now, with all the specifications out of the way, let's now wrap up the video by discussing which one of these vehicles is the most suitable option in terms of value for money, fuel consumption, and even resale value. Let's skip the exterior and interior because there's not much to discuss, but do let me know which one looks better. Personally, I will go for the Honda Partner based on looks alone. The Probox has enjoyed huge success in the Kenyan market, despite it being more expensive compared to these other 2 competitors. And that success can be attributed to its rock-solid reliability, its toughness, its good fuel consumption, affordable maintenance, and even good resale value. But now, the big question that people are now asking is whether this new Probox with a CVT gearbox will be able to be as good as the previous model. And as I said earlier, only time will tell. But something to take note of is that generally CVTs are not as strong as normal automatics. They are just meant for smooth and linear power delivery, as well as good fuel consumption. But when it comes to some very hard work, they may not perform very well. But again, if you look at some of the tasks that some Probox are exposed to, you can get surprised. This car was not meant to transport excessive luggage. So if you load it within the required carrying capacity and drive it decently, it will just last. The CVT will not disappoint. On the other hand, if you overload it and drive it too aggressively, you will definitely damage that CVT gearbox because it will now be strained due to too much weight and constant high speeds. Something else that should be avoided is rapid and hard accelerations. Just allow the CVT gearbox to deliver the power smoothly and gently. Otherwise, if you keep accelerating so hard, then you will be overworking and putting too much mechanical stress on that transmission. The previous model with the 4-speed automatic was capable of speeding right from a standstill without any issues. But with this new model, it's not advisable at all. If you keep doing that, you will be creating problems which will be expensive to fix. So that said, which one is the best value proposition? The Honda Partner is quite a good car, even though the most recent one that you can get is the 2010 model. In fact, this car has been largely overlooked because of the dominance of the Probox, but it's actually not a bad car. It's the most affordable. It's just as spacious as the other 2 cars. It's also fuel efficient. The only slight issue is something like resale value, but if you intend to keep it for a long time, then that's not a problem. The second issue is that its spare parts may not be as readily available compared to those of the Probox. That's not to say that you won't find the spare parts. They are available, but not as readily as those of the Probox. So if you are on a tight budget, and you need a car to assist you in your business, then you can also consider this Honda partner. They are a bit rare, but you can still find some that are in very good condition at a very good price. In fact, earlier models like the 2007 and 2008 are even more affordable, and this car is actually stronger and tougher than a Nissan Advan with a CVT gearbox. On the other hand, if you want a more recent vehicle, a 2014 or 2015 model, then you can get the Nissan Advan. It's more affordable than a Probox, it's fuel efficient and spacious as well. The most suitable engine option is the 1.6 liter with the automatic gearbox. The downside of this car is its resale value, but if you will be keeping it for a long time, then that's not a problem. The other downside is the CVT gearbox, which may not be so strong and reliable. So that's why I recommend the automatic gearbox with the 1.6 liter engine. The Probox has a good resale value. It's also fuel efficient. It's generally a good workhorse. But if you plan on putting it on intense work, such as transporting camels, cows, mirror, and other heavy luggage, then I recommend that you just get the previous model with the automatic transmission. The newer model with the CVT may not cope so well with all that intense work. On the other hand, if you will just be transporting moderate luggage and using the car for light and moderate tasks, then you can just go for the newer Probox with the CVT gearbox. It will cope well with such tasks. Something else is that you may need to install some security mechanisms such as gear lever locks, steering locks, or trackers, because these Probox are selling like hotcakes. So they are thief magnets. So I hope this has been helpful. There's actually no bad car here. It depends on your budget and needs. If you're on a tight budget, then get the Honda partner. If you want a strong and tough workhorse, then get the previous model Probox with the automatic gearbox. If you want a car to perform light to moderate tasks, then get the newer Probox with the CVT. And lastly, if you want a more recent and more affordable car than a Probox to perform light to moderate tasks, then get the Nissan Advan. Thanks a lot for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you found this content helpful. You can also use the details in the description box to support the production of this content by donating. Your support will be much appreciated. For any inquiries, feel free to reach me via WhatsApp or email. That's it for this episode. Stay safe. See you in the next video.